Hey. What's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Bravon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. Yeah, you know it's time for us to get started, so turn it off, turn it all the way off. Yeah. All right. Please allow me to reintroduce myself again. My name is Brandon Bravon Towns, and this is Sports Plus Life. This is that show where we discuss some of the hottest sports topics as well as life topics, be that personal, not personally me, but be that issues that you may face on a daily basis at home, or whether if it is celebrity news as well. And if this is the first time you've listened to Sports Plus Life, please don't hesitate to hit that subscription button. Holla at your boy. Any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely leave some comments down in the comment section below. So how's everybody doing today? It is a beautiful, beautiful Monday spring day here in the Richmond, VA. I would have did this a little bit earlier, but you know what? I was out with the family. We went to Jumpology, took the kids to Jumpology. Then went for the first time. I had Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, we went to Texas Roadhouse, and I gotta say, it was pretty good. It was. I would definitely go back. I mean, plus they're like five guys. You can have a bucket full of peanuts while you're waiting for your stuff, while you're waiting for your food. And those hot rolls are the shit. I ain't gonna lie, them hot rolls were pretty good. And also, if you're a first-time listener, allow me to say this because there gonna be some places where I go today that will definitely make you say And the first thing I am gonna let y'all know is that I am not sponsored, so I don't censor myself if I don't feel I need to censor myself. Sometimes I will use graphic language. I'm giving you a fair warning today about a certain topic. I am going to use some very graphic language. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. And I am not sponsored. So you know what that means? I can say what I want, when I want, and how I want. When somebody wants to cut that check and sponsor me, I'll tone it down just a little bit and throw in whatever they need me to throw in. But until then, it's Monday, April 22nd, 2019. And the topics we will get into will be the NBA playoffs. We will get into this past Saturday's welterweight championship fight, as well as controversy surrounding the song God Bless America. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right. First topic at hand is the NBA playoffs. The first round is starting to shape out pretty much how everybody thought it would. And the last time we talked on Saturday, I said that a couple of teams needed to step up. Well, they have. I'll start off with the Eastern Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks are playing the Detroit Pistons tonight, if I'm not mistaken. That will be Game 4. And Milwaukee leads the series 3-0. Blake Griffin did come back and play in Game 3, but it didn't make a difference. Bottom line is the Pistons are going to get swept. Like I said on Saturday, it's no knock against the Detroit Pistons. They just cannot keep up. They do not have the talent that the Milwaukee Bucks have. You suck. As I also said, the Bucks only need to play hard in each quarter for about 6 minutes. If they play hard for 6 minutes in each quarter, they will win this. They will win this series easily. So I don't know really what to take from this series as far as Milwaukee is concerned. It looks like, as I said on Saturday, it looks like a number 1 seed playing a number 8 seed, and so as far as I'm concerned, you can't really. I mean, good for the Bucks. This is going to be their first playoff series victory since 2001. So good for them, but I really don't know how to gauge it, what to really gauge from it, because they're so much better than the Pistons. You know, the Pistons are so on demand. And that is the 1-8 matchup. The 2-7 matchup, which was the Toronto Raptors and the Orlando Magic. Remember, Orlando won Game 1. People were starting to say, including myself, the Raptors, here they go again. Maybe it'll be different because they have Kawhi. Well, they have gotten it together. They have won 3 straight games. They will have Game 5, I believe, tomorrow in Toronto to close that series out, and they will close that series out. Kawhi Leonard has been absolutely sensational. Kyle Lowry has been the grit and the grind of this series. Pascal Siakam, that dude can ball. So Toronto looks like a very deep team, and you still have Gasol, you still have Van Fleet, you still have Jeremy Lin, and so they should take care of business. Same thing with the 3-6 matchup. The Philadelphia 76ers against the Brooklyn Nets. I did a specific segment on the Philadelphia 76ers because I thought they needed to get their shiznai together. So, and they have. They've won the last 3 games. Joel Embiid did not play game 3, and they blew the Nets out. He came back to play on game 4, and it was a very close game, down to the wire game, but the 76ers handled their business in a game that had some fisticuffs, as in there was a little bit of drama, which is another thing I'm going to get into in a minute. So Philadelphia will be heading back home to play the Nets in game 5. I believe that'll be tomorrow as well. And they'll take care of business. And in the 4-5 matchup, the Boston Celtics swept the Indiana Pacers. They completed their sweep yesterday. They are headed to the second round, and they'll be waiting to play the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not going to say the winner of the Pistons-Bucks because we know who that's going to be. They're waiting to play the Milwaukee Bucks. Then we will see what the Bucks are made of. Now, in the Western Conference, you know, the Clippers had their 31-point heroic, miraculous comeback against the Warriors. Some people were saying it's time for the Warriors to panic. No, it's not. You know, the Warriors have done what they done. They took both games at the Staples Center. They'll be going back to Oracle Arena to kick the living shit out of the Clippers and move on to the next round. Now, the most interesting and entertaining as far as evenly matched series that's going on so far in the first round of the playoffs is the number 2 seeded Nuggets versus the number 7 San Antonio Spurs. I said I had the Spurs winning this series. They won game 3, and they were up big early in game 4, and then the Nuggets just ran them out the building. I mean, the Denver Nuggets really ran them out the building. So they have taken the home court advantage back. That series is tied at 2. Game 5 will be in Denver, and I think this will be the one first-round series that you see go 7 games. And logic would tell me Spurs because of experience, but, man, Denver can shoot. Jokic is he's no scrub. He's no joke. He's an all-star for a reason. Jamal Murray is nasty. Is nasty. And, of course, they have what is his name that used to play with the Atlanta Hawks? Paul Millsap. Now, he only had 2 points in game 4, but Millsap is a battle-tested veteran. And they just have some players on there that's very respectable. Now, the 3-6 matchup, another series that I thought would have gone 7 games, doesn't look like that's going to happen now. The Portland Trail Blazers are up on the Oklahoma City Thunder 3-1 after the Trailblazers took care of business in OKC last night to give them that 3-1 lead. I thought Oklahoma City was going to win this series, and really that's based on the fact that, you know, Portland has gotten their asses handed to them the last 2 years in the playoffs, swept both times the last 2 years, but they have a pretty good squad too. And this personal matchup between Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook has been fun to watch, but I think Russell Westbrook needs to just leave it alone, man. Because you're talking, you know, you're running off at the mouth and you're losing. You're losing. And the 4-5 matchup, Houston versus Utah, Houston will probably finish with the sweep tonight. They're up 3-0. I could see Utah possibly winning tonight just to show some pride and not get, you know, have the series end on their home court. But, you know. So, now back to what I was saying as far as the fisticuffs. One thing I have enjoyed about the first round of this year's playoffs is the disdain that these teams have for each other. And, man, Philadelphia versus Brooklyn, I fucking love what's going on in that series. Now, I'm not going to say I love the elbow by Embiid in game 2, But, you know, Brooklyn carrying that over and then showing pride after they got blown out in Game 3. And this is what happened in the third quarter of Game 4.
Embiid and crashing again to the floor, my goodness. Dudley and Simmons into the stands. Have to go back a couple games ago when Embiid threw an elbow as Butler has to be taken back. When Embiid gave that elbow up high and then the chops to Allen, here was another shot from Embiid to Allen, and Dudley didn't like it and got in there.
And what made it worse was the post-game presser when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid was asked about that, and they were joking. So here's the hard foul first from Embiid on Jared Allen. I mean, that's all ball. It doesn't even touch his head. But here's Dudley coming in the middle.
And then Butler pushes.
And then Butler with the push in the backside. And then it extends into the front row right in front of the Sixers bench. And, I mean, that is a good hard foul by Embiid because he's going for the ball. It looked bad in real time. And then here you see, and then you got Simmons and Embiid, and there's no love lost between those two. And you got Coach Kenny Atkinson, Harris, Fred Galloway, team security, all trying to calm down Dudley.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now, you know, I saw it when it happened. Excuse me. And first of all, there was no need for anybody to be thrown out. This is what's annoying me. Okay, the referees need to just get out the way. They do. It's the playoffs, butt out. They're so quick to throw technicals and throw people out. You know, I know we don't want a repeat of the Malice in the Palace, but there was no reason to throw Jared Dudley or Jimmy Butler out of that game. No punches were thrown. Jared Dudley was coming to the aid of his teammate. Kind of was overreacting because it was a hard foul, but he was coming to the aid of his teammate, and then Jimmy Butler was coming to the aid of his teammate. No punches were thrown. You know, really, Jared Dudley lost his balance. Ben Simmons low-key pancaked him. He really did. But no punches were thrown. You give a tech to Jimmy Butler, you give a tech to Jared Dudley, and you go on about your business. You keep playing the game. You know, this is what as being an NBA fan, not as much as I used to be, because one, it's gotten so soft.
Biatch.
You want to see this disdain and the passion from these players who's realizing that their seasons are on the line. And this kumbaya shit that the NBA is always trying to promote, especially on the basketball court, man, they need to drop that. I mean, I've loved what I've seen from the Nets and the 76ers, as well as the Clippers and the Warriors. Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley going back and forth, and Steph Curry going back and forth. Lou Williams, I'm loving it. Montrezl Harrell, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Even in the San Antonio series, when DeMar DeRozan got ejected for chucking the ball way over the official's head and with some juice on it, I'm loving that. But the referees are so quick to throw somebody out the game or quick to give somebody a technical. Man, butt out. Butt out. You know, go get your paycheck and get your free lunch and shut the hell up and get the hell out of the way and let these players play. That's ridiculous. But what we are coming to realize is something that we should have known at the beginning of the season, other than the Warriors winning it all. I mean, like I said, that's going to happen. But we pretty much had a good idea at the beginning of the year who the main teams were, at least in the Eastern Conference. The West has kind of been tricky because we didn't expect what we were going to get from Denver. You could have easily said that you didn't expect what you were going to get from Portland. You expected to see the Lakers in the playoffs. You expected to see the Pelicans in the playoffs. You didn't expect this from the Clippers. So the West has kind of thrown you for a loop. But the Eastern Conference, the second round of the playoffs is about to be lit because you're getting the four best teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, it could have been five. Unfortunately, what happened with Victor Oladipo was his injury. But I mean, it is what it is. Like everybody hopes that he recovers quickly, but you know, we knew by about a quarter of the way through the season that Milwaukee was a realistic player in the Eastern Conference. So you kind of had to add them and replace Indiana almost, especially when Victor Oladipo got hurt. So you're going to get Milwaukee versus Boston, and then you're going to get Philadelphia versus Toronto. Man, I mean, you're talking about the potential of 2 7-game series in the Eastern Conference. Then in the Western Conference, you're going to see Golden State and Houston in the second round. And you don't know. It's looking like Portland is going to advance, and you don't know yet whether it'll be Denver or San Antonio. But this second round of the playoffs is going to be legit. It really is. It's going to be legit. And I can't wait to see him. Definitely looking forward to seeing him. So I just thought that I would touch on that subject as far as the playoffs are concerned. And again, referees butt out. The NBA needs this because it has gotten too damn soft. So the next thing that I will go to is Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World between Terrence Bud Crawford and Amir Khan. So what happened in that fight was Terrence Crawford came out quicker than normal, and in the post-fight interview, he said that he was looking to start out faster because he knows Amir Khan's history as being a fast starter. Very smart move. And he dropped him in the first round. Now, Khan did good by getting up and trying to make a fight of it, but he was getting outclassed. He was getting outclassed and was starting to get beat up. Just look at him in the post-fight interview. So in the 6th round, he got hit with a low blow. Now, when you get hit with a low blow in the sport of boxing, you're allotted 5 minutes of recovery time. 5 minutes so you can get your bearings back. And the fight was stopped, maybe not even a minute after the low blow, because Amir Khan quit. Now, he's trying to say it was his trainer's decision, and, you know, I'm not the type of guy who will quit. And just listen for yourself.
Because I put it to Twitter and I said, listen, people down there, but people are saying Amir quit. Could you speak to the people that say that and just direct it to them?
Yeah, I would never quit. I'd rather get knocked out. You know, I'm one of them fighters. I'd rather get knocked out in fights. I have been knocked out because I've tried to win fights.
You didn't quit?
Yeah, you quit. He
Tell
quit.
the truth.
Nah, I didn't quit.
So what happened?
I'm telling you, I never quit.
What happened?
I mean, I think I was hit with a
I'm
low
asking
shot.
you what happened.
I was hit with a low shot. I was hit with a very low
In your
shot.
leg? You quit with a shot in your leg?
In the leg, in the balls. I mean, look, I've not seen the video on the clip of it, but it's the logo of it.
I got the picture.
It was low. It was low. You know,
But it wasn't that low enough to quit.
It was on the thigh.
It wasn't low enough to quit.
All right, but calm down. Calm down.
Well, you know,
y'all didn't feel the punch. Y'all didn't feel the
Fine,
punch.
if you guys think I quit, no problem. I'm never quit from a fight, but no, 100%. Look, he's a great fighter. He beat me tonight. We just have to look up for him.
You're saying the doctor stopped the fight, you didn't quit. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't quit. I don't quit.
I think the official thing was his trainer stopped the fight, if I'm correct. That was what I think officially was the ruling. So his trainer came in, it was out at his discretion that he felt that he didn't want his fighter to take any more, and he stopped the fight. So now let's ask some more questions. Let's get off this subject. Yeah.
Okay, so see, my thing is that Amir Khan was getting dusted in this fight. He really was. And it was funny. You heard the girl in the background. Yeah, he quit. That's what he did. It's always somebody there to amp it up. But, my thing is that, they're saying that Virgil Hunter stopped the fight, Amir Khan's trainer. But if you watch the post-fight interview, Virgil Hunter says, I asked him, did he want to continue? And he said no. So what does that mean? If your trainer asks you, can you continue fighting, and you tell your trainer no, that means you're saying you don't want to fight, which in essence is saying that you quit.
You suck.
And big ups to Terrence Crawford for, kind of trying to keep the crowd calm, because nobody was buying that excuse that Amir Khan was saying. But Terrence Crawford said, okay, you didn't feel the punch, but even Bud Crawford knows that that's bullshit. But be that as it may, Bud Crawford he did his part. And I know that's not the ending that he was looking for, but he handled his business. And of course, afterwards, he was asked about what fight does he want. He said he wants Errol Spence, and then Bob Arum got in an interview and said that Crawford wants to fight Spence. Top Ranks wants Crawford to fight Spence. He believes Spence wants to fight Crawford, but he says that the main thing that is stopping this fight from happening is Al Haymon. Now, I'm going to say this. This would be a damn shame. This would be a shame if this fight is not being made. To me, there are 3 fights that absolutely have to get made, and 2 of them, are lollygagging. One is Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. The second is Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, and the third is Vasily Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia. This would be a crying shame. This does the sport of boxing no good. And I've heard things like, Errol Spence is one of Al Haymon's main cash cows. And if he loses to Crawford, he'll be losing a lot of money. And that's not necessarily true, because what if it's an absolutely great fight and Crawford wins a razor-thin decision, a fight that would demand a rematch? Errol Spence isn't going to lose any value from that. None. That's what kills me about boxing. As much as I love boxing, people who are in charge that get on along with their damn politics, it gets on my nerves because it prevents the best from fighting the best. Now, I'm not a UFC fan, but I will give Dana White credit. If they have 2 top contenders in the same weight class, they fight each other, and they don't make the public wait either. This could be a very big cash cow fight here. You would have 2 fighters who are in the top 10 pound for pound, 2 undefeated welterweight champions in their prime. What the hell is the problem? Don't have us, waiting like Pacquiao and Mayweather. And the same thing goes for Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. 2 undefeated heavyweight champions in their prime. And they're not fighting each other because of this and because of that. It's bullshit. And if the boxing promoters give a damn about the fans, which pays the bills, then they need to stop. They need to get off their high horse and have the best fighters fighting the best fighters. Yes, you could throw Terrence Crawford in the ring with Danny Garcia. Okay, that would be a decent fight, but that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want to see. You could throw Manny Pacquiao in there with Terrence Crawford, but that's not what we want to see. You know what I mean? I'd rather see Danny Garcia fight. Well, no, we have seen that. Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, they have fought each other. I'd rather see Manny Pacquiao fight Keith Thurman, because Pacquiao is the WBA secondary title holder, whatever the hell that means. I've been over that before. And Keith Thurman is the WBA regular welterweight champion. So why don't you have those 2 fight to clarify the WBA first of all? So it's just sad, because you have a potentially great event that is waiting. It's right there. It's right there. Errol Spence fought last month. Terrence Crawford just fought on Saturday. They both handled their business. Get them in the ring and let's get it on. I don't want to hear nothing about no damn Al Haymon or no damn Bob Arum. Well, Bob Arum has already put the pressure on Al Haymon by coming out public and saying, we want the fight. It's him. I don't want to hear nothing about no damn Al Haymon with all the fighters that he got trying not to make a fight simply because you don't like Bob Arum. They're saying you're not fighting Bob Arum. You're trying to get your fighter to fight his fighter. And those 2 want to fight. Everybody will make some money, will make a lot of money, because this is a fight that the public really wants to see. These 2 have elevated themselves up enough to where just general sports fans will want to see Crawford versus Spence. like I said on Saturday, if that fight happens, yeah, I'm ordering that. I didn't order Crawford versus Khan. I'd have been pissed had I ordered that fight and Amir Khan quit because he got a shot to the nuts only once. Come on, man. That's why one of the people in the crowd in the press conference said, "Did you think you were trying to win? You think you were trying to win by DQ?" And maybe he was, but the rules in boxing are if you get hit with a low blow and it's the first time, you're allotted up to 5 minutes. If you cannot continue, the person who got hit with the low blow will lose the fight. Amir Khan just flat out quit. But anyway, in 2 weekends, it's another huge fight between Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs. I have said this before. I said this when this fight was first announced. I just don't like the amount of respect that Daniel Jacobs has been giving Canelo Alvarez, because the simple fact of the matter is the writing is on the wall. Daniel Jacobs has lost 6 rounds already because he signs a small contract, couple fight deal with DAZN, the streaming network. Canelo has the record deal with DAZN. Triple G signs a 3-fight deal with DAZN. This is all looking to set up this September 3rd fight between Triple G and Canelo on DAZN. Daniel Jacobs has to realize that. So he has to realize that he either has to knock Canelo out or he has to dominate him to the point where maybe he'll get a draw. But the only way the apple cart is really upended with the 3rd fight between Triple G and Canelo is if Danny Jacobs knocks out Canelo. And I believe he can do that. Because there's not going to be the type of money in a Jacobs Triple G rematch like it will be for a Canelo Golovkin rematch, because this is a unification fight that's getting ready to happen on May the 4th. Canelo has 3 belts. Jacobs has 1. These are all the welterweight major governing body belts that are going to be on the line Saturday, May 4th. Do you really think the powers that be in boxing want Daniel Jacobs to beat Canelo Alvarez? And it has nothing to do with race or anything like that. That has to do with name and star power. Who is Canelo Alvarez backed by? Oscar De La Hoya. So that's what I need Daniel Jacobs to realize. Dude, you have got to be a dog about yours, because you're already behind 6 rounds. You're already behind 6 rounds. So I just wanted to get into that subject as far as the boxing goes. It's heating up in the sweet science. I love it. I love it. Now, this is going to be a short episode. So with that being said, what a buzzer, what a buzzer, what a buzzer. Now, while you hear this buzzer, I'm going to talk about a topic that is still sports related, but it has come to everybody's attention that the Philadelphia Flyers have decided to remove a rendition of God Bless America, as well as the New York Yankees. They've chosen to remove a rendition of God Bless America done by Kate Smith because of Kate Smith's past transgression with racist music. Now, in case you didn't know, Kate Smith was born in Greenville, Virginia in 1907. She died in 1986. She did a lot of controversial music, to say the least, which now the New York Yankees, the Philadelphia Flyers, feel the need to remove. And you know what? God bless them. Honestly, because this is just another example of how a lot of people in this country are still trying to hang on to the good old ways of when America was quote unquote great, but it's nothing but racism and hatred and ignorance going on by a lot of people now, and especially people back then. Do you know this woman, Kate Smith, wrote a song called That's Why Darkies Were Born? Someone had to pick the cotton. Someone had to pick the corn. Someone had to slave and be able to sing. That's why darkies were born. And I thought that song, All Coons Look Alike to Me, was bad. Now, with all due respect, I would just like to say this. Kate Smith, may you rotten shit. Biatch. You dirty, rotten bitch. I hope you're in hell getting butt fucked with a metal bat with thorns from unpicked cotton. Now that's how I feel about you. And I'll say it again. May you rest in shit. And some people have said, oh, well, she raised a lot of money to fight the Nazis in World War II. Oh, who gives a fuck? You already showed your true colors, you slut. And if anybody from her, if anybody was ever to stumble across this that was a relative to her, I don't give a shit. And if you're a relative who's a generally good person, then this message ain't for you. Look, I'm not trying to be funny. I am from Richmond, Virginia. And one thing that really, really is alarming to me is that how many people, particularly in the South, want to hang on to their past heritage, this, that, and the third. And if you want to hang on to that, fine, whatever. But hang on. But honestly, I think you just need to hang on to that shit in your heart and in your mind. And that's bad enough. But it's 2019. Nobody needs to see any of that shit because, for one, I'm going to say it. If you're a Confederate supporter or whatever, y'all lost. You're losers. And I'm going to be real petty about that. You're losers. The Confederate, all the generals, all of that other bullshit, you're losers. You suck. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I think that Monument Avenue should be cleaned out, with the exception of the Arthur Ashe statue. I'm serious. Monument Avenue should be cleaned out because it is nothing but a bunch of racist pricks, slave owners, people who fought to keep people like myself and my culture enslaved, people who didn't think that we were good enough to even walk the face of the earth, people who didn't even think that black people were actually people. We were property. When the Constitution was written, it did not involve anybody of my race because we weren't seen as people. We were seen as a commodity. We were seen as property. We were seen as money. We were seen as trade bait. So to people like Kate Smith and the people who think like Kate Smith and the people who think like those people who are honored on Monument Avenue, piss off. Biatch. Honestly, you're losers. Your red, white, and blue flag with the red X, fuck you. You're losers. So, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not racist. I'm a realist. That's where people get the two mixed up. I'm not a racist. I'm a realist. And people are afraid to hear the truth. And people want to some people still want to live in their glorious, glorious past. But glorious past to who? I think today's society is rather soft myself. But I mean, god damn. I mean, you talking about just a slap in the face. Every time you go down to Monument Avenue, every time you hear somebody make reference to a song like Kate Smith or the original national anthem or stuff like that. And I'm supposed to sing God Bless America June 13th at the Diamond for the Richmond Flying Squirrels game. I'm not singing that version. That's why darkies were born. Bitch, please. Anyway. Y'all caught me in my feelings. This is Brandon Bravon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. Once again, I said I'm not sponsored, so I'll say what I want, when I want, and how I want. Once somebody cut that check, then I can tone it down a little bit. But until then, it's your boy. Again, holla at me from the Richmond, VA. Peace.